Tongue, a 5-2 defeat away at Bootle today. Frustrating game. What are your thoughts on the performance and the result?
I think we said last week about that first 20 minutes not conceding early goals, and if you give any team at any level a 2-0 head start, you're always chasing the game, and it's moments in games that matter. I think the mindset from the warm-up, really, everyone agreed with me there, it was completely different to last week. And I said, just because we've done something good last week doesn't mean we'll do it this week. They've been on a bad run, and I said to the lads, it doesn't matter. I said, you can get beat 5-6-0, you can go and win 4-0 the week after. And today, first half, we were nowhere near at it. We scored a very good goal, good bit of play, and then again it's just those moments, that desire to get there first and concede a penalty late on, it takes the wind out of you. But then most teams would probably roll over. I think second half they probably expected us to come out and be a bit flat, a bit of a sucker punch, but I think for the first 15-20 minutes they couldn't get near us. We've probably scored, I don't think we'll score 2 better goals all season. Keeper Tony's pulled off a worldie save for Jack Earlham's and a penalty chance, but again the scoreline probably doesn't really reflect the second half, but it certainly reflects how we probably played the first half. And over the course of the 90 minutes, I just don't think we were anywhere near the standards that we set last week. And I said to the lads, you've got to remain grounded, and we play at this level for a reason. Teams will roll over, will roll you over if you don't perform. And today was one of them. Today was one of them where it was all about heart and desire. And I said to the lads, it's a privilege to get paid to play football, and at the moment some of the lads look like after the game they didn't really care. Lads having a laugh and joke while getting beat 4-2. A few own truths, not just from me, the lads. I said to the lads, I wouldn't have done this if it weren't for the group of lads we've got in there, and everyone agreed, which is I suppose the positive is that everyone knows where we've gone wrong today, rather than just it being a shouting and screaming match. So yeah, lots to think about. Again, injuries, you look at the lads, Max has come off again, Tinning got injured in training Thursday. So it's hard to create that level of consistency when the team's constantly changing. But overall, I said to the lads, you can't give teams 2, 3, 4 goals. Every time we scored, it was that mindset switch, and we reverted back to how we started the game. We did so well to get back in the game. It's those 5 moments where you take 5 minutes after you've scored to resettle and just keep doing the right things, and we went back to trying to do our own thing, and it cost us. Again, there's arguments whether or not there's a couple of blocks, but again, when you come up with a team with 4, 5, 6 big lads like that, you've got to try and defend the box as good as possible, and we probably didn't do that today. But again, we've had chances, but yeah, it's always a tough one to take, because people will look at it and think it's a drumming, but in hindsight, it's at times we played really well, but again, it's just that you've got to do the basics, you've got to work hard, and you've got to realise that we play at this level, so if you're going to make mistakes, sometimes they'll cost you, but it's about creating that level of consistency.
Was it? I suppose you've touched on it, but we got back into the game twice, scored 2 really fantastic goals, and then conceded straight after.
Yeah, key moments, like I say, sometimes they always say in football that you're most vulnerable when you've just scored, and probably summed it up today with front to back. It's just, like I say, the goals that we've conceded. Last week we were putting our bodies on the line, or we were defending the goal line, or we're getting something on it just to stop it from going in our net, and it looked like today we were a bit behind that. We always looked like we were a bit sluggish with it, and I said to the lads, it's a difficult one to take, because we just didn't do what we'd set out. We came here with an idea of what we were going to do and how we were going to play, and at times lads just seemed to do what they wanted. And we've just had a really honest and open conversation there, and people realised that after last week, that was miles off where we were last week. Whether people thought the second half last week was bad or not, we were brilliant. The result reflected that, based on how we played in the first half, and we earned the right to play. Today we didn't do that. Today we just looked first, and we looked second to everything, and first contacts, and just body language speaks volumes. And I always say, if you know you're not having a bad game, at least work hard, and if you're having a bad game, you've got to do the foundations right and just be as consistent as you can to help your team out. And probably today, across the whole squad, there weren't enough of us doing that.
Obviously, we're just taking each game as it comes. Tuesday at home to Clitheroe. Again, as you've mentioned, the squad is pretty thin. How do we prepare for that?
You just got to go again. Like I said, the hardest times in football are probably now, when you're on the bare bones, when you've got lads injured, when you've got lads playing through niggles. Tommy Young, food poisoning, sat on the bench, told him not to bother. He said, no, I want to come. You just need everyone to be around you. And again, I said to the lads, there'll be loads of people watching these next few games, because who we are as a club and where we are in the league and what we're trying to achieve, people would love to be here. It happens in non-league football, player turnaround, and I said to some of the lads, we are on trial essentially, because the new manager will come in and he'll have his own ideas of who he wants to bring in, how he wants to play. And I said last week after the game, if a new manager walks in the day after, he'd want every single one of us after the way we played. After today, a few lads have said it in there, if we were to do that, a new manager would come in and probably want to, if we're honest, rip it apart, because again, you've got to create that level of consistency. We know that everyone's going to have a bad game, and you know you're not going to be your best all the time, but ultimately if the new manager is watching, you want to put on a performance and the heart and desire. You need to show that, because they're the people that go places and get you far in the league, and they're the ones that are winners. So yeah, it's a tough one to take, and like I said, the hardest bit now is bouncing back for Tuesday, but again, a couple of days rest, see where everyone's at, and hopefully Tuesday everyone turns up with the right mentality again, and we take pride in what we do, and we certainly put on a performance at home.